go.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here, and thank you for joining us on this beautiful and special day as we begin our exploration of our monthly theme of awakening curiosity. If you are a newcomer, I always forget to bring the welcome card. If you are a newcomer and would like to have information from us, we have a little blue welcome card that's available on the podium and out front. And if you share that information with us, then we will make sure that you get information about everything that's happening here at the fellowship. If you're somebody that's been around a moment but have changed your contact information, that's a way to let us know what those changes are. So, and we hope that everyone will stay for coffee and conversation after the service so that we can get to know each other, or you can stay online to chat on Zoom. Here in this time of ministry and covenant, we are asking that we all hold all applause until the end of the service, where there'll be plenty of opportunity to thank everyone. Jazz hands can work as a substitute if you feel so moved. So I now invite Gene Basanta, in the spirit of awakening curiosity, to introduce our incoming minister.
Good morning. So I'm Gene Basanta. I'm the president currently of the CUF board, and today it's my real pleasure to introduce our new minister, Reverend Karen Van Fossan. And if you'd like to know more about her background and experience, you should check out the bulletin board out in the Commons, where Miriam has prepared a nice information display. So, a year ago, we were in the midst of some big changes here at the fellowship. If you think back, at that time, in just a couple of months, Reverend Sarah, who had been our minister for 11 years, would be leaving us. And at the same time, we had just begun our search for a new minister. And uncertainty was really the word of the day. I have to say that at that point, a year ago, at that time, I was really confident that we would quickly find someone to be our new minister. With a great search team, a really vibrant CUF community, and an attractive Southern Illinois community, I thought in no time we'd have lots of candidates to select from, to talk to and select from, to fill our position. Well, pretty quickly from that initial, clearly overconfidence, as applications didn't pour in, I became very discouraged. And I have to say, I said to myself, and I actually said to several people at the time, I'm not sure we'll ever find a minister. Really, I wasn't sure we'd ever find a minister. But then I was reminded of a familiar expression, all in good time. And that phrase tells us to be patient and calm because the thing we're so very eager for will happen, but it only will happen when the time is right. Well, that time came. While we had the chance to meet with several very strong candidates, from the moment the search team met Reverend Karen, we felt a real sense of connection with her, a feeling that the fit between us was strong and that together with her as our minister, we could live out our vision to be a vibrant, inclusive, welcoming, and loving community which champions freedom of thought, deepens spirituality, and promotes social justice and ethical living for all. And so I know we're not supposed to clap, but I'm going to break the rule and ask you to please help me in welcoming our new minister, Reverend Karen Van Fossan.
Good morning. It is good to be with you virtually this morning, and I so look forward to being there in person in August. It has been a true joy working with the search committee and getting to know this vibrant congregation through them. I am grateful for your spiritual aliveness, commitment to social justice, and genuine care for one another and the world. I've been asked to introduce myself to you this morning. After spending the last few days at the First Nations Women's Alliance Conference here in North Dakota, I'm inspired to introduce myself the way many of my Indigenous friends introduce themselves, by honoring their ancestors. So, I am the third generation minister in my family. Norman Zerbrigg, my mother's father, was a gentle and faithful minister for years. Ruth Schober Zerbrigg, my mother's mother, taught in a one-room schoolhouse in Oswego, Illinois, near Aurora, before becoming a music minister, though she certainly wasn't called a minister at the time. Betty Van Dyne, my father's mother, was a coal miner's daughter and a force of nature. She relocated to Southern Illinois after falling in love with my grandpa, Glenn Van Fossan, who grew up in Wayne County, north of you there. Grandpa Van and I took to each other instantly. Grandma Betty, who was not inclined to anything quote unquote woo-woo, said that when Grandpa and I met, when I was still a newborn, it was like Grandpa and I had just found each other again after being separated for years. My mom, Kathy Zerbrigg Boyens, just retired from many years of music ministry and has encouraged me in just about any pursuit I've ever had, including this one. She is my guiding light. My dad, Randy Van Fossan, retired from the ministry about 20 years ago and entered the business world. His first church was in Chenoa, Illinois, near Bloomington. We lived in a huge brick parsonage next to the church, where my dad rebuilt a VW engine in the basement and then had to unbuild it to get it back up out of the basement. When church people asked my wonderful younger brother, who some of you met during my February visit to Carbondale, when church people at the time asked my brother at age 3 what my dad did, my brother replied in all earnestness, "Work on cars." I love this story because it shows how much ministry is a shared calling. The only thing really unique that my brother saw my dad do was work on cars. Otherwise, he was doing what our community did, caring for one another, serving the larger community, sharing in worship and music and learning. My dad was one of the ministers, just as I see myself in this new role at Carbondale Unitarian Fellowship. I am one minister of many, helping us, I hope, live into our shared calling. When I asked the search committee what they were looking for in a minister, they said pastoral care, meaningful worship, and support to build programming for children and youth. I thought to myself, those are my favorite things on earth, along with social justice work, which clearly this fellowship is deeply committed to. Those are all aligned with my own sense of ministerial calling. If you'd like to learn more about my professional background, please take a look at that mysterious billboard that Gene just referred to, and I would be glad to share more at any time. Meanwhile, before I close, it might be useful to talk about the hybrid arrangement. First, I'd like to say that hybrid ministry, with partial in-person time and partial virtual time, has become one of many models within the Unitarian Universalist Association. The UUA provides much support and guidance in how to make it work. During the month of August, I will be in Carbondale in person, so we can get to know each other and find our ways of working together face to face. Beginning in September, I'll be there 2 Sundays in person and 1 Sunday virtually, something like this. Between and around those 2 in-person Sundays, we can meet, visit, share pastoral care and counseling, engage in community organizing, plan, and connect. Beyond those in-person Sundays, we can still connect and meet, plan, share pastoral counseling, and then some, through Zoom or phone. This arrangement makes it possible for me to spend good time with you and the Carbondale community, and still spend time with my family of origin and the next generations of my family, my earnest kids and rambunctious grandkids. I so look forward to introducing all of them to you. Please know that I'm a hard worker, and I am deeply committed to this shared ministry of ours. In August, I hope to learn so much more about you, the ancestors who have come before you, and the dreams and visions you have for the future. It is my honor to have a place in this shared story. Thank you.
Wow, welcome, Reverend Karen. Thank you so much for joining us today and telling us a little about yourself. I am really looking forward to August and our time together in person. Okay, so now we're going to do announcements. One other thing I want to say right now before I forget is among her many experiences Reverend Karen has written a book, and Linda just handed me this book before the service. I'm going to read it, and then it's going to be available for sharing, but I imagine she wouldn't mind if you bought one too. So there you go. There's a little plug for her. So, and as Gene said, there's more information about Reverend Karen on the bulletin board. Okay, so now for announcements. Before the service starts, if you want to submit an announcement to be read, please write it on a slip of paper. There's a basket with slips in the back, and you can bring it up to me or raise your hand and someone will come get it. And if you're on Zoom, you can put your announcement in the chat box at this time. There are always announcements on the back of your service, and for those of you joining us from home, on the email that was sent this morning. We try not to repeat announcements, and let's see. So, okay. So here are some announcements, and if anyone has more, let me know. Wendy Sizer is looking for a house cleaner, so if you know of anyone, please let her know, and Wendy's sitting right here in the front. We have a really exciting day here at the fellowship, and in addition to meeting Reverend Karen for the first time, we also have an opportunity for all of us to join Nico Lang this afternoon from 1 to 3 here at the fellowship. They are going to do a reading from their book, followed by a discussion. And I hate it when I do that. They have books for sale for you to look at, and where are they? There they are, sitting in the back with Bill is Nico Lang. And so come join him this afternoon from 1 to 3. I am so sorry.
You're doing great.
If I say he once more, just like do this. Okay. Thank you. Okay, great. All right. Well, there you go. That's that announcement. We also have equal exchange for sale. I brought some cards in case you're late for your Mother's Day. You can buy a card for your mother yet. So those are out for sale after the service. And if you are so inclined, I know I'm not supposed to repeat things that are in there, but this is such an exciting day for the fellowship. We are having a concert tonight by Tezzeret Chorus. So we have stay all day. It's going to be fun. Okay. So the Sunday services team does want me to say that when we do joys we do record these services, but when we do joys and sorrows, that recording is stopped because of the current political climate and to protect your privacy. So just wanted to let you know that, and those are available on our YouTube channel. So that's already a lot of stuff, but let's center ourselves with, Gene has quick.
Just a quick announcement. If you recall, last week we had a fire drill, okay? It went very well. We cleared the building in less than a minute, okay? But there are two things. Oh, Charles, am I preempting you here? I wasn't sure you were here. There are two things, and Charles can correct me or add to this, but two issues that came up. One is people tried to go out this door here and found it difficult to open. What's not at that door, but is at this door? What's over the door? Exit sign, okay? When there's a fire, go to the nearest designated exit, okay? Because they have push bars, okay? They'll open. This one you can open, but it's more difficult. You have to unlock it and push it open. And so that was one issue that came up. The other issue is when you exit, don't leave the doors open into the building. They should be closed, and I think the RE door was left open. Anything else, Charles? Okay, so keep those things in mind, and I think that we'll have a reminder on the order of service on occasion about checking for exits in case of a fire. So, thanks.
Morning. It's good to be back.
Like they got a 2-year lease. Springtime, springtime, I'm walking down the line. Lord knows it's clear to me now. There ain't no causing me hanging round. Nights don't fly like before in this town. Ain't no causing hanging round. Tommy left month or so ago. Believe he's surely gone for good. And Sister Lou, she don't treat me like she should. Boy, she really let you know. There ain't no causing you hanging round. Nights don't fly like before in this town. Ain't no causing hanging round. Everybody scattered, married or lost their way. I was told they was selling cars somewhere. A time did come, a time rolled on down the road. All it left was a song. There ain't no cause in hanging around. Nights don't fly like before in this town. Ain't no cause in hanging around.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you. Welcome to the Carbondale Unitarian Fellowship, located on the unceded traditional lands of the first people of present-day Southern Illinois, the Miami, Osage, Kaskaskia, and Quapaw. The fellowship is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, sharing the good news of Unitarian Universalism with folks throughout this region. Our good news is a message of love, freedom, reason, respect, and justice as a basis for religious community. My name is Miriam Link Mullison. My pronouns, she and her, and I'm the maker of the main bulletin boards and prairie display, so I'm kind of a visual person. And it is my pleasure to once again serve as your Sunday services facilitator. We are a congregation of open minds and hearts, all ages, all colors, all genders, all abilities, all kinds of wealth, and all kinds of love. Now I invite those who are online to select gallery. We can see you, and you can see us connecting our congregation over space. It's good to see so many people on Zoom today. Yay! Okay. So for the next 3 months, CUF will be lay-led, with Sunday Services team planning our services using rich spirit and many talents and of our congregation's members and friends. We also sometimes have guest speakers and ministers, so please join us Sunday mornings and at our Wednesday evening Zoom Vespers as we await, I would say at this point, for me anyway, anxiously await our Reverend Karen's arrival. So, all right. For our chalice lighting today, I will share May This Flame by Betts Winnicky. May this flame, symbol of transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us. Our chalice is now lit. Now, with intention, Jean puts the pebble in our bowl of water, letting it ripple out beyond our knowing. All are invited to do the same here at the fellowship or at home to mark a joy, sorrow, or any other feeling that you have during the musical parts of the service. And now we will have our hymn. I love this hymn. Love Will Guide Us. It's hymn number 131 in the gray hymnal. In our fellowship, we share so many things: time, efforts, talent, spirit, and money for the needs of this fellowship, but we also share with our greater community beyond these walls. You may contribute to the fellowship, to our social action offering recipient for May, which is 724 Ministries, and there is also information about them in your order of service. Checks may be made payable to Cuff, and make sure you note either whether you do it at PayPal or check what it is your check is for. And your PayPal links are online or on your order of service. Also, we always are happy to accept your spare change. We collect that money and send it to the UUA as a part of our contribution for our annual program fund, money that has brings resources to local congregations such as ours, and we have used many in the last year. So please join me in our unison offering reading. The words are in your order of service and on the screen. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope. For now, we are keepers of the dream. Your contributions are gratefully received.
Summertime, and the living is easy. Catfish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, honey, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. One of these mornings, you're gonna take to the sky. Until that morning, there's nothing can harm you. Your daddy and your mama standing by. Summertime, and the living is easy. Catfish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy is rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, honey, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. One of these mornings, you're gonna take to the sky. Until that morning, there's nothing can harm you. Your daddy and your mama standing by.
And now Tim Hoke will share with us, I've lost the name, A New Hope. I see your words right here. Come on up.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elena, and thank you all. I will also take my opportunity to welcome Reverend Karen, and someone should have warned me I was going to do my message in front of the new boss today. But from one preacher's kid to another, I'm so glad that you're with us and glad that you're all here with us today. So may the 4th be with you. That's where you say, and also with you. There we go. Couldn't resist. And honestly, I don't think I should have to resist, because today, that little greeting carries more weight than it might seem. It's playful, yes, but it's also an invitation. An invitation to think about what it means to be with something that binds us all. What it means to be a force, lowercase or uppercase, in this world. So let's go there together today. If my sermon title, you thought I was going to be focusing on the original 1977 film, which captured so many of our hearts, you'd be wrong. I'm reaching back to The Phantom Menace this morning. And if you haven't seen it, and don't pretend you haven't, you'll probably remember the scene I'm referring to. Young Anakin Skywalker, arrogant upstart lone wolf who's frequently ignoring his master's Obi-Wan's instructions, sits before the Jedi Council. He's nervous, he's powerful, and in this moment, Anakin is scared. Yoda can tell. And in his particular way of cutting right to the thing that you are hoping to avoid, Yoda says, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. It's one of those lines that lands differently every time you hear it, because it's as true for us as it was for Anakin in that moment. It is psychology, it is history, it is our news cycle. It's a thing we recognize in ourselves at 2 a.m. when we can't sleep because the world has just simply gone apart. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. We've seen that progression play out in our nation, in our neighborhoods, in our families, and in ourselves. And Yoda says it so succinctly. 4 words in, and he's already described the mechanism behind some of the worst things human beings have ever done to each other. Fear leading to anger. So here's the question I'm going to pose today. If that progression is real, and I believe it is, what is the inverse of that progression? What is the path in the other direction, not towards the dark side, but towards the light? So this morning I'm going to suggest something. I want to offer a counter progression. Not as a denial of the existence of the dark side, but as a new way to think about Yoda's words as we move towards something else. Hope is the path to the light. Hope leads to peace. Peace leads to compassion, and compassion leads to love. Now, I'm sure many of you are thinking that sounds really nice, Tim. Maybe a little too nice. A little bumper stickery, maybe. And I am not going to disagree. We are a fellowship that takes things seriously. We don't do cheap optimism here. We're not interested in hope as a spiritual bypass and as a way from looking away from hard things. So I'm going to earn each one of these progressions from peace, compassion, and love. But let's start with hope. Hope is not the same thing as optimism. Optimism says everything's going to work out. Hope says something harder and something braver. I will act as if things can work out, even when I'm not sure they're going to. Writer, historian, and activist Rebecca Solnit writes that the idea that hope is not a prediction, it's a stance. It's a decision to stay open to possibility when the evidence for possibility is thin. Fear closes things down. Fear narrows your vision to the threat that is in front of you. It's evolutionary. It's how we got to be the apex predator we are. It makes sense, but it cuts you off from the larger picture. Hope, by contrast, opens your view to the horizon. It says there is more than just this moment. There's more than this fear. The Jedi in their best moments, not the rigid, rule-bound Jedi Order of the prequels, having Senate debates and passing legislation, but the ideal they pointed toward, they were beings who had learned to act from something other than fear, not naively and not without acknowledging the dark side and the danger of it. Its lure. But with their eyes open and their hearts still reaching forward and towards hope. And that's the first step. Now hope leads to peace. And I want to be careful because the idea of peace can be misconstrued. Peace is not the same thing as quiet. Peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is not telling people to calm down when what they're really feeling is righteous grief. The peace I'm talking about is more like the Hebrew tradition of shalom, a wholeness, a right relationship with the world and with yourself. It's the peace that comes not from avoiding difficulty, but from being grounded enough to face it without being swept away. When we live in fear, we're reactive. Everything is a threat. Everything requires defense. There's no room to breathe, no room to think, no room to actually see the person in front of you. But when hope anchors us, when we've made that choice to stay open, something settles. Not complacency, groundedness. And from that groundedness, we can respond rather than just react. In the Star Wars universe, this is the difference between a Jedi who fights from clarity and one who fights from rage. And certainly, Obi-Wan and Anakin displayed that dichotomy. And one was present, and one was already lost. Peace, in this sense, is presence. It is the capacity to be here, really here, with what is. And from that presence, peace then leads to compassion. And this gets really beautiful. Because compassion literally means to suffer together. It comes from the Latin roots cum, which means together, and the verb pati, to feel, to suffer, or to bear. To be in compassion with someone is to let their reality actually land on you. Not to fix it, not to project onto it, not to manage it from a safe distance, but to genuinely be moved by it. Fear makes us close off ourselves from other people's pain because we're too busy managing our own. But peace, grounded in presence, creates space. Space to actually feel what another person is feeling, space to recognize ourselves in them. This is, I think, the deepest spiritual work there is. And it is also the most politically urgent, because so many failures of our public life come down to a failure of compassion. The inability or unwillingness to let the reality of another person's suffering actually matter to you. The dark side progression, fear, anger, hate, is a chain of contraction. Each link pulls tighter, cuts off more, and sees less. The light side chain is the opposite. Hope opens the horizon, peace grounds us in presence, and compassion expands us, stretches us past the boundaries of our own experience into genuine connection with another. Which brings us to love. Compassion leads to love. And without sounding too much like my dad, if you heard his sermon here, I want to say something about love that may sound obvious, but I think it's easy to lose track of. Love is not primarily a feeling. Love is a practice. It's a commitment. It's what you do when the feeling isn't particularly there. In the Star Wars mythos, what ultimately redeems Darth Vader, who was our young Anakin who had given in to fear and had turned to the dark side and succumbed to hate. And what pulls him back from the edge, after decades of service to the Emperor and the dark side, is not argument. It's not aggression. It's not power. It was his son's refusal to stop loving him and believing that there was still good in his father when everything told him that was foolish. That's love as change agent. That's not love as a force. That's love as the force that moves through the world and changes things. In Unitarian Universalism, love is not just a sentiment we feel warmly about. It's a covenant. It's what we're actually trying to do here, together, week after week, to practice loving one another and the world, not because it's easy, not because we always feel like it, but because we believe it's the right orientation in our universe. And in this, we must not try. We must do. We must do or do not, because there is no try. So here's how I want to leave you today. Yoda was right, unsurprisingly. The progression he described is real. Fear is the path to the dark side, and we don't have to look far to see that in our world. But there is another way, another path, and it begins, as it always begins, with hope. And here, every week, we renew a new hope. Not easy hope, not cheap hope, but the stubborn, clear-eyed, slightly unreasonable hope that says, I refused to let fear be the last word. I refuse to let anger be what I hand to the next generation. I will stay open. I will stay grounded. I will let myself be moved by the reality of other people, and I will practice love, even when and especially when it's hard. That's the work. That's the light. Hope leads to peace. Peace leads to compassion. Compassion leads to love. May the fourth be with you, and may you be a force in every sense of the word in the world. Amen. Blessed be.
You walk the streets trying to scope things out, only sure of your doubt. You can't recall where all you've been, more like a trace now and then. Both come to tell you what you need to do, also sure what's true. But you remember back one September, there came a stranger who said, you be me, I'll be you. Let's both take a good look around and say what's true, do what's ours to do. Our souls unbound. You look around for your long-lost friends, your strange trip near the end. Your dreams have all crashed down and burned, but somehow hope is returned. You stop in a club, this girl says, hey bub, her smile like a snub. But now a strange tune, soft as a pale moon, slips on in the room too. Say you be me, I'll be you. Let's both take a good look around and say what's true, do what's ours to do. Our souls unbound. Yeah, you be me, I'll be you. Let's both take a good look around and say what's true, do what's ours to do. Our souls unbound. You be me, I'll be you. Let's both take a good look around and say what's true, do what's ours to do. Our souls unbound.
Thank you. Okay, so I would like to thank everyone who made this service possible, which includes everyone here and everyone on Zoom. So now's your chance. We get to do the applause thing now. No, you don't have to do this anymore. So first, we're going to thank Reverend Karen for joining us today. Thank you. Thanks to Jean for introducing her, but also thanks to the search committee and the board who saw our match and found them. Thank you, Tim Hoke, for helping us understand Star Wars in a way that my son does and I do not, but I do now. And another round of applause for Ken and Dorothy for your music. You are wonderful. And thanks to Elena for her accompaniment and her special intro. Wonderful. Thanks to Jill and Gilletta. Jill is learning to do AV. Yay! And to our greeters, Jean and Linda. And thanks for putting up with me another Sunday as a facilitator. As we leave, just a reminder to put hymnals back on chairs, and we might actually be needing to take the hymnals off the chairs today, right? If you can put your hymnal in the racks in the back, that will help the choir that's going to be playing or singing later today. So clean up your area, hymnals to the back, that would be super duper. And now for our benediction, if you will please rise as you are willing and able, and hold hands or hold palms out for our benediction, which is The Legacy of Caring by Fandera. Despair is my private pain, born from what I failed to say, failed to do, failed to overcome. But still, my inner self, let me rise to you. Let me reach down into your pain and soothe you. I turn to you to renew my life. I turn to the world, the streets of the city, the worn tapestries of brokerage firms, crack dealers, private estates, personal things in the bag lady's cart, rage and pain in the faces of those who turn from me, afraid of their own inner worlds. This common world I love anew, as the lifeblood of generations who refuse to surrender their humanity to an inhumane world. This courses through my veins. From within this world, my despair is transformed to hope. And I begin anew the legacy of caring. Blessed be, go in peace for love, for justice.